Namaste and welcome to today's episode of TV9 News' Political Insights by me, your host, Priyanka Deo. Don't listen to Greta, Disha and Lissy Priya. Here's the truth on farm laws and how they will benefit millions of people in India. In 2020, the PM Modi NDA government passed 3 agricultural reforms which work to transform India's relatively unproductive agricultural economy into a large-scale national industry. Before this, in 2018, thousands of farmers hit the city streets all over India to appeal for help from the government. Farmers demanded for higher prices for their output as well as loan waivers for their debts. Now, this matter was serious and the nation was watching. With the Lok Sabha elections in 2019, PM Modi and the NDA's action for these farmers would definitely play a part in determining the outcome of the election. In response, PM Modi did offer the farmers support on limited price but held off on loan waivers. He promised the farmers that he would implement solid reforms for them after the election. To this, the Congress party responded and came up with a promise to waive off all farm loans, but this held no water. PM Modi won the 2019 Lok Sabha elections big, and in 2020, the agricultural reforms were passed. These 3 reforms did 3 important things. The first reform allows for farmers to sell their produce outside of their local areas if they feel they can do better business outside of the APMC or mandi. This was a state-run market where farmers had to sell prior to reforms. The second reform allows farmers to engage in contract farming. This means that farmers can sell their produce in advance as well. Now keep in mind, contract farming is a pretty common thing. It's done on a wide scale in many countries in the West, including the United States of America. The third reform allows private distributors to set up large-scale warehouse operations without being prosecuted for hoarding food. These reforms sound all good, right? But the passing of these bills resulted in chaos in the parliament and pandemonium on the streets. The Farm Bill protesters put up a facade that they were poor farmers from all over India, and on top of this, celebrities and activists including Priyanka Chopra, Greta Thunberg, Lissy Priya and Disha Ravi promoted to this facade on social media. Without even visiting the country, more international influencers like Rihanna, Lily Singh, Trevor Noah and Meena Harris also chimed in. But this is not the truth. All of these so-called concerned figures posted about Indian farmers on their social media, but all of them forgot to mention or were simply ignorant of the fact that Delhi's farm protesters are mainly from the Jat community. Now here's why this matters. The Jat community is a caste that can be mainly found in northwestern India and eastern Pakistan. Today, Hindu Jats are concentrated in Haryana, Sikh Jats in Punjab, and Muslim Jats are focused in Pakistan. Why are the Jats protesting? Even though Jats make up a small percentage of India's overall population, their control over the land in states like Haryana and Punjab has made them come out to these protests. Punjab is also a state that has one of the highest land holdings per farmer compared to other states. Now, in this case, what frequently happens is these small and marginal farmers have to sell their produce to larger farmers who then deal with traders. This guarantees the small farmer with minimum money and livelihood, but on the other hand, that small farmer is at the mercy of whoever he or she is selling to. Now, according to experts, the MSP or minimum support price mechanism that states like Haryana and Punjab use is neither equitable nor adequate in providing lucrative prices to all types of farmers. Corruption also plays a big part here. The implementation of the farm laws means that these large farmers, landowners, and traders lose their corrupt political bargaining power, especially over these small and marginal farmers who now have to sell and procure based on legal mandates. In simpler terms, PM Modi's agricultural reforms have blocked the corruption in APMC structures and also blocked the unchecked income and bargaining power that these brokers, larger farmers, and landowners have enjoyed for years. It's therefore largely not the small and marginal farmers at the protests, but these landowners, brokers, and large farmers with political and bargaining influence that are against these bills because now they lose their grip over small farmers and APMC structures. Even though the Jat farmers in Haryana and Punjab may be fine in the near future, the farm laws will eventually take away all of their corrupt power. This is because the farm laws encourage free markets and privatization as well. This means that the protests are more of a political issue now than anything else. The protests are not at all about the welfare of the Indian farmer. Coming back to the point, the aim of these farm laws are to make India's agricultural sector a productive national industry. India's poor and marginalized farmers, and there are millions of them across the country, need these reforms because they do not have the high amounts of land, equipment, government subsidies, and benefits that the Jat farmers of Haryana and Punjab enjoy. The most frustrating part is that Western media and influencers are still promoting this poor farmer narrative. This has resulted in fake news and misinformation globally. There are misinformed articles, posts, content, and statements made from prominent celebrities and influencers that the reforms will affect upwards of 800 million farmers and livelihoods. This in itself is factually not true. In India, 52% of people are employed in agriculture, but agriculture only contributes to 17% of the Indian GDP. Moreover, what's happening on the ground shows that most of the country is actually happy with the farm laws. Farmers across India are already benefiting from the agricultural reforms. For instance, farmer-producing companies from 4 districts in Maharashtra have earned approximately 10 crore rupees from trade outside of the APMCs. This is just about 3 months after the bills were passed. Bearing all of these facts in mind, I implore you to not be misled. Just because celebrities, prominent media platforms, and public figures are tweeting and posting on social media doesn't mean that they're being genuine. Until you know a celebrity's or articles or online content's reason, genuineness, or agenda, if it is commenting on a social issue, I implore you to turn to facts and objectivity. As for the farmers' protests, they're still ongoing. But now that you know the truth, it's time to ditch this false narrative that media is trying to push on farmers' protests and ignore unqualified influencers like Greta, Disha, and Lissy Priya, along with the more unqualified celebrities who are taking to social media as experts and pundits on Indian farmers. For this reason, please share this video as it's important for people to know. Thanks for watching Political Insights by me, Priyanka Deo. Please subscribe to TV9 News for more content from me and more. I'll see you next week with a brand new episode. Till then, namaste.